Okay, so for verse and devotion today, we're still talking about how can attending church and reading the Bible help me with perception versus reality. And this particular verse or two verses, I would not normally go this route, but I see what it's saying. And it comes from James chapter 1, verses 2 and 3. If you know the Bible and you've studied it and read it for years, you know that these particular verses, perception is a big one here versus your reality. Okay, so let me just read it. It's James chapter 1, verses 2 and 3. It says, "Consider it pure joy." That's the tagline right there, first and foremost. That's your point. "Consider it pure joy, my brothers, when you face trials of many kinds." Consider it pure joy, my brothers, when you face trials of many kinds. Okay, I'm going to keep reading. "Because you know that the testing of your faith develops perseverance." When you face trials and hardships and difficulties, they stink. I mean, flat out, they stink. I mean, I'm just calling a spade here. When something bad happens in my life, I don't consider it pure joy. I don't. But this is a perception thing, okay? So let's think about this. The second verse, or verse 3, says, "Because you know that the testing of your faith develops perseverance." Well, it does. If you've ever went through a difficult time, a difficult process, it more than likely has helped you grow, helped you mature, helped you become a better person spiritually. It gets you where God wants you to be. At the moment in time you're going through it, you are not a happy camper. You're not even close to being a happy camper. You're probably telling God you're pretty ticked off at him, you're mad, you're aggravated at the circumstances or the people that are involved, and you are a hot mess, okay? However, because you go through it and you get through it, you learn. You're able to help others when they go through it. Do you see what I'm saying? So at the time, your perception of it stinks. You are not happy. But when you're finished with it and you've persevered through it, you look back at it and go, wow, I'm really glad I did go through that. I hated that it hurt. Well, like I would say, it hurt like a big dog. But because you went through it, the reality is you became a better person because of it. So you can consider that pure joy. So the next time you go through what I call a spot in your life, think about, instead of perceiving it in a bad way, think about, wow, how is this going to help me in the long run? How am I going to be able to help people? How am I going to be able to love people because of this bad situation or difficult situation? When I was in high school, my senior year, I played volleyball. I played volleyball through high school. But my senior year, my grandmother passed away, and I blew out my left knee. I blew out my ACL. I was not a happy camper at all. I had all kinds of aspirations. I felt like I was going to go and get a scholarship and go on and be go on to the mission field and, marry Mr. Awesome Jesus freak guy and, all this stuff. That was what was in my mind. And I had a couple of scholarship offers, and I was hurting because I lost my grandma. It was just bad, rough part of my first senior year. It was tough. However, I say all that to say this. God didn't want those things yet for me. He didn't want me to go off to a university. He didn't want me to meet anybody else other than my husband, Mark. He had a plan, and I just didn't know what it was. So my perception was, this stinks. What I'm going through stinks. Yeah, it hurt that my grandma died. That's true. But 6 months, a year, now 21 years down the road, I look at it and go, did it stink? Did it hurt? Yes. But I get what God was doing. I can see it now. I can see what he had planned. I don't know why he had to take me those avenues and ways, but I had to mature and I had to grow up. And that's just how he works with us sometimes, because I wouldn't have chosen that for myself, but that's what he chose for me. I have a fantastic husband. I love him dearly with all my heart, and I have beautiful boys, and I still became a minister. So look past your perception of the situation and think about what God really wants to do with you and how he's going to use you to love and bless others because of your trial.